thank you for joining me here at the conference. We are at the International Association of Healthcare Security and Safety annual conference, and you are here joining me as we kick this off. Tell me a little bit about yourself and why you are here.
Yeah, my name's Ali Jabry. I'm here representing my company, Kwema. Kwema is actually a Swahili word. It means I'm safe, I'm good, I'm in a good place. And that's kind of what we strive for in healthcare, especially with our frontline. But this is my 5th year in IHSS, or IHOS. So I'm really excited to be here again. And New Orleans is one of my favorite cities. So let's go.
Tell me, because the background of why you started this company is really fascinating and really touching. So tell me why you started Kwema.
Yeah. Unfortunately, about, I want to see how many years is it now? Like 8 years ago, one of my friends was kidnapped, unfortunately, in South America.
Wow.
Leaving the airport, had asked her mom, hey, can you pay for my cab? So her mom was going to pay for her cab in local currency because she didn't have any. Unfortunately, the taxi drivers are normally like the first ring of kidnapping for organized crime in countries like Bolivia, Peru, Argentina, Chile, and others. The good news is that she made it back home. The reason she made it back home is really what stuck with us at Kwema and why we founded Kwema. So the fact that her mom was expecting her and then something didn't happen, then she didn't make it home,
right?
She knew something went wrong, right? So she started sharing that news, making it viral and asking her friends. Social media picked it up, the radio picked it up. And then at the end, the kidnapper got scared and let her go, because the thing you have to understand about organized crime is that they outsource that first layer of kidnapping to taxi drivers and Uber drivers. Okay. They'll give them a card and say, hey, we're looking for a brunette who fits this profile. Mm-hmm. If you can give me one, $10,000, no questions asked. Wow. And they tempt the taxi drivers and Uber drivers to be to do first-time crimes, basically.
Wow, yes.
And it's really bad because it's effective, because nobody ever expects them to be those bad actors. And that's kind of what happened to her. But luckily she made it home. So that person had a switch of, I guess, life and let her go.
Wow. Okay. So very fortunate. So this story kind of was what influenced you to create this. So tell me, so you have the badge reels.
Yeah.
They're distress alerts, but they also do a lot of other things. So just kind of explain to me and explain to the audience what it does.
The goal for us is that you have this layer of safety without putting a lot of behavior change and mind power to it. So it's a seamless workflow that you already adopt. And in healthcare, the reel is really important because you're badging in 30 times a day. You're not going to be always going to a wall and doing this every day, right? So the fact that you can just do beep, 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 30 times a day and not even think about it and always have it on you because you know how much it saves you time and how easy it is to badge in. We piggybacked off that workflow. That's very easy to remember. I have this duress alarm on me when you're in the moment, right?
Right.
Because you can't really plan for that. You can't really know for it. And that's really where our core focus has been. Now, where it's used is where we've invested a lot of time, and it working anywhere, like at a patient's home, at a parking lot, a mezzanine.
Wow. So even home care. So it could be effective for home care. And, in my background, I have worked in all of those different places. So to be able to have a duress alarm that could follow me, to all of those places is really amazing. So it alerts. So I'm assuming then what type, it uses Bluetooth. Okay. So does it have to attach to the person's phone then when they're on location at somebody's house, or?
Yeah. So it piggybacks off your cell phone or tablet. Then it also leverages existing Wi-Fi networks to triangulate and trilaterate where you are within a building as well.
Okay. Wow.
So some buildings have really good readiness. Some have to invest in it. Okay. But in both scenarios, it's still a pretty seamless process because you're not starting at zero. You're starting at some percentage, 60%, 80%, 90% of coverage within your facility. And then we just make sure you augment that so we can have better coverage within your building. Okay. So we know that in seconds from getting a floor plan and understanding how that works. So It's been really effective, especially when you talk about a 5 million square feet hospital. That's a huge difference of having a baseline coverage map and then just augmenting it to offer that coverage to all your staff, especially because you can't predict where it's going to happen.
Right. Yes. So then if if an employee presses the duress, then who gets that signal? Who knows to respond?
Yeah. And that's kind of something that we partner with the security leaders of those organizations to determine. But we've seen everything from 911 response, which we provide as part of our service, to a nursing station that can come in with a code word like, hey, Dr. Rojas is really mad. He's looking for you. And Dr. Rojas is a code word to let the person who pressed the button know that, hey, I got your duress alarm. I'm getting you out of this room right now.
Okay.
And that's like an incognito way to do it that only the caregivers know that that's the reason why they're getting pulled out to meet Dr. Rojas, right? Or a behavioral response team or like a police officer and an ED, like kind of you could stack and
so it can be customizable. You can have multiple, people get notification and be able to know like where and when to respond to that pressing of the duress.
Exactly.
That's amazing. That's awesome. And this is your fifth event involved with IHOS. You're here every year. Your signature pink.
Always.
Your signature pink color. So this year, last year, you were a supporter of our WISH SIG. And for those that don't know, it's the Women in Security Healthcare. And so this is your second year. This is our second year having the networking event. This is your second year supporting it, which we are so thankful for. And so this year, here, should we hold it up?
Yeah.
This year we have these amazing bags that say True Allies Wear Pink, and it has our WISH logo on it. And so everyone that attends the networking meetup is going to get one of these bags. Yeah. And that's going to be the only place that you're going to be able to get it at the conference. Is you have to come to the meetup in order to get it. And so we are so thankful for this. Tell me, why is it important for you to support WISH?
Many reasons. I would say the main one is we have to empower the minority of leadership, right? That unfortunately happens to be women in the industry. So I feel that acknowledging the brilliance and making sure everybody knows about how women leaders in healthcare security are making a big impact, and being empathetic is a huge reason why I've seen a lot of success in women in leadership roles. So that's something that I have a big passion for. And also because our mission has always been to like address gender-based violence. Initially, when we founded the company, we actually had like jewelry pieces that were incognito. That was the first version of our wearable device, which we sometimes do create custom-made ones. And that's when we started. So the origin story of Kwema was always around eradicating gender-based violence. And that's something that I feel comes full mission when we kind of shifted.
So you didn't necessarily start in healthcare.
No, we didn't necessarily start in healthcare. But that comes full circle when we pivoted now to like this nurse safety angle.
Yes.
And what is it? Like 80% of nurses.
Yes, nurses. Yeah, So it's a large statistic. Yes.
So it's kind of like we came full circle. It's a full circle moment for us. So I always love being in the working with underdogs and kind of addressing because I'm an underdog myself, right?
Yes, yeah.
So it feels great.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And, and this year too, we're really being more vocal about the allyship and the collaboration. I think last year it was a little bit more, women focused. And this year we really wanted to spotlight men in healthcare security as well as the women, and really that allyship and the collaboration that happens, because ultimately at the end of the day, we're all a team.
100%.
Like we all have the same goal. We all want the same result, which is safety. We might have a different thought process and how we get there and how we achieve that, but being able to spotlight and shine that, there are multiple ways, but at the end of the day, we're all reaching the same goal.
100%.
So, what are you most looking forward to besides the WISH event? If I can be a little partial, what else are you really looking forward to at the conference?
Honestly, just learning from some incidents and how they were prevented the most, effective way, and seeing old friends and having a good time, sharing best practices and re-engaging with customers, partners, people who want to deploy, and all the above, right? And of course, the WISH event's always a great one because I feel like there's always standing room, and it's always a common mission we stand for. And it was a great time last year, for example, and I expect it to be a better time this year. So.
Yes, it's going to be amazing this year. Definitely a lot more interest and a lot more buzz around it too. And so definitely getting traction, and it's for sponsorship and support like yours that really help us get that traction. And I feel like this year there are a lot more kind of after action reviews. There's a lot more presentations this year, critical incidences that have been happening nationwide and how teams responded. They're coming to the conference this year to share that data, to share what happened and share what they did, and do's and don'ts, and learning kind of the ins and outs of that. So I do feel like we got a lot more sessions this year.
I agree.
Of that. So I'm excited to sit and learn as much as I can too in between doing everything. So what would be something that you would like to leave listeners with at the end of this podcast?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the most important thing that I always make sure we do is like get buy-in and listen to the frontline, design with the frontline in mind, and co-design with the frontline, because at the end of the day, like they're the ones you're like, as security leaders and people in security, we're trying to benefit. And that's part of been how we've been successful in this industry, right? Like we designed everything with nurses, like input and conversation. Like we made a new reel with a 360 clip that has an alligator clip, and guess who like really pushed for that?
Nurses. Yeah.
They're like, hey, like an alligator clip version is really important. So we invested a lot of R&D and into making our own custom alligator clip that like clips on perfectly to a script.
Nice.
Right? Like, so
fantastic.
These small things really matter because that can make the difference between a successful security initiative and an unsuccessful one. Yes. So that's probably my biggest when you put yourself out there and are able to use that evidence of the front line with leadership, you end up being very successful. And that's what we pride in.
And I know from a nursing standpoint, I think that's definitely a bit of a hot spot, is all of these things that come out that didn't have frontline nursing input in, and they're essentially your end user and they're the largest population. Not having that input and being able to say, well, no, this is kind of how when I was in nursing school, my nursing instructors would say, there's the book way on how to do things, and then there's the real world way on how things are done. Yeah. And so I think having that input from nurses and kind of how the real world, how our workflow works is so important. So it's fantastic that you have listened to frontline staff and been able to design your product to be able to really support not just their safety, but also their workflow, because that's really important, really, really important. I do have one more question for you too, because I'm curious. I haven't asked this question yet. AI.
Oh, great.
What do you see it kind of impacting? How do you see it impacting duress funds? Or do you not even see like an impact? Do you think it'll really impact at all?
So that's a hard question, because I feel that AI is going to do a lot of good for our industry, but it's also going to do a lot of it's going to bring a lot of rejection. Like people are going to heavily reject it. Yeah. And we've kind of already seen that with like these like always on devices, or like, like things that can record, like there's a lot of pushback, and not only in healthcare, across every industry, really. Like we talked to a lot of security leaders and operations leaders in different industries. And sometimes they ask me a trick question like, hey, can your duress alarms be turned on from a dashboard or something? And I'm like, no, because we are focused on our frontline workers, and that's who's meant to benefit. Number one. Number two is obviously the institution, organization, right? And that they tell me it's a trick question, because their nurses would never wear something that's always on, for example. So there is like a big kind of mismatch between like what AI should do for us and what AI is kind of pushed to doing, like these robot nurses and all these other stuff that are quite frankly ridiculous to a certain degree. They might be able to do some of the workload, but they can never fully provide immense value in that sense, right? So it's a tough question, because I still think there's a human element that healthcare depends on, that will never be, even though people will try to replace that element with AI, it'll never fully replace it.
Yeah. It's going to be very interesting over the next few years to really see how AI fully impacts and it start getting rolled out in healthcare. But I think you're right. I think there will be much of still a demand of having that. You can't replace human touch.
You cannot.
You just can't. The connection.
And it's really important too. It's an important part of human nature to have that human connection, and that also is a really important part of getting better. So
Yeah, and security is part of the team. I was talking with one of our other interviews that we were talking about how security is really becoming part of the care team.
It is.
It's a multidisciplinary care team.
Yeah. So you tell me a security officer who doesn't know everybody in that building.
Yeah.
I guarantee there's none. I've toured thousands of hospitals with people, and they're always like, hey, yo, what's up? What's
Yes.
up? Like they're always walking around like the cool, like they know everybody, right?
Yes.
And everybody knows them, right? And I've seen this in every state, every political kind of stance. Like everything was always like they know security, and security knows everybody, and everybody loves security, and that component is really important for like a culture of safety and a culture of well-being and a culture of like avoiding presenteeism and all that, right? So I think there's no way a robot's going to be doing rounds and be like, hey, yo, what's up? How are you doing? Nice to meet you. How's your day going? Right? Like that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Not anytime soon, anyways. Not anytime soon.
Yeah. So I do love the Jetsons, but not that much. You know
not
what I mean?
that much. Exactly. So, well, Ali, thank you for joining me today.
Yeah.
And again, here we should hold it up again.
Yeah, get your bag.
Get your bag. Come to the networking event. Get your bag.
Let's go.
So let's go. Let's
Excited.
do it. All right.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure.